Hello again. Whenever the drive for diversity is mentioned, the pretense is maintained that this is a broad wish to see more people of all different types in some institution or profession. Black, Indian, Chinese, working class and disabled people are all encompassed by diversity. The reality is that if people of Indian or Chinese heritage wish to study at Oxford University or become doctors, lawyers and accountants, they need very little help to get on. They're usually overrepresented in high earning professions and good universities without anybody having to make any effort to encourage them. Getting more working class people into somewhere doesn't really impress anybody because most of them will be white and so your diversity will not show. Nobody will be able to see just how diverse you are. The missing people are therefore those of African and Caribbean family backgrounds. Those are the young people who will look good in publicity photographs for the law firm, company of accountants, Russell Group universities, medical schools and so on. The problem is though that they are half as likely to get 3 A levels at top grades as white pupils, and so they can't even get off the starting blocks a lot of the time unless they're given a little help. That's why the best universities and medical schools now make what they call contextual offers. At one time, medical schools wanted those who gained the very highest grades at A level, choosing those, the ones who did best academically, from the whole country, regardless of ethnicity, social class, skin colour or anything else. This approach will get you a lot of white students, Indians and Chinese, but usually no black students at all. They're only getting 12% of those top A levels, as opposed to 3 times that for Chinese students. This really looks lousy in photographs of your student body at university. The government gets annoyed and they threaten to cut your funding as well unless you can find more black people to join your medical school or whatever. Even when you do get black students into your university, they are much less likely to get a first than whites or Asians. The government has noticed this and threatened universities with a cut in funding unless they can, as the expression has it, widen access and improve results. This is code for let more black students in and then make it easier for them to pass exams once they're at your university. In the description to this video I give a link to a piece about this. London Mayor Sadiq Khan thinks it's a scandal. He says, and you can read for yourself his views in the link I give, it is simply unacceptable that black graduates are less likely to achieve a first-class degree. Now, of course, one approach to this might be to ask ourselves why black students do so poorly at their A levels and then don't seem to thrive and get firsts at university. But there is no enthusiasm for opening that particular can of worms. Instead, universities have a system called making contextual offers. What this boils down to is that instead of offering places at Oxford or Bart's Medical School to the students who did best in their exams compared to everybody in Britain, which ensures that you get the very brightest and most academic students to study medicine, you instead choose those who did well compared with the other pupils at a really shit school. In other words, students who are academically the best at very poorly performing schools in rundown and poverty-stricken areas. Because black people are more likely to live in poorer areas, this will automatically allow you to target black students without making it obvious what you're doing. A quick look at the names can often help identify who is black as well. I realise that this sounds utterly mad, choosing medical students not because they are the brightest and most academically gifted in the country, but I assure students that I'm not making it up. I should say viewers rather than students. I've got students on the brain. In the description to this video, I give a link to the website of St George's Medical School in London. We read that under our contextual offer scheme, eligible applicants could be made an offer 2 grades lower than our standard conditional offer. In other words, everybody is expected to get at least 3 or 4 A levels at A or A star to get into medical school. But under this scheme, you get to study medicine with an A and 2 Bs. This applies if you go to a school with an average A-level grade of C or below, go to a school with low progression to higher education, live in an area where very few people go on to higher education, or live in an area with higher levels of deprivation. You will be eligible for a contextual offer if you meet any 2 of these conditions. This then is how black students are acquired by universities and how they tend to find their way into medical schools. Without these tricks, you would hardly see any black students at Oxford or indeed at any medical schools. This gets you brownie points with the relevant government body which holds the purse strings, but now you have to ensure that they get firsts, otherwise you'll be in trouble for that too. There's an easy solution for this. You simply make the examinations easier for all students, so there's a better chance of everybody, including black students, of getting a first. You think I exaggerate? In 2011, fewer than 16% of university students in Britain left with a first. Last year, this figure more than doubled, and 38% of students got firsts. How cool is that? I also give a link to a source for this. Of course, that isn't all. At the moment, to study medicine, you need to be taking A levels, but what about all those pupils who are not able to manage A levels? St George's Medical School says that in this first phase of contextual admissions, we are looking at A levels, as these are the qualifications the majority of our applicants apply with. However, we are in the process of broadening our contextual admission schemes with an aim to include more qualifications and reach a larger number of people by 2023 entry. They are referring here to things like BTECs, which less academic students take at further education colleges, while the brighter pupils are doing A levels at 6th form. I need hardly tell viewers that this whole business is a terrible disaster, and that early indications are that the quality of students has taken a bit of a nosedive because of all this contextual business. But I think I should have to make another video covering the decline in standards. As can be seen by the grade inflation, this nonsense is now damaging not only our medical schools, but every university in the country. And it's had the effect of lowering the value of British degrees generally for everybody.